This is a presentation of Blakesley Sports Media. Welcome to BSM Live. Here's your host, Stephen Blakesley.
Well, we want to welcome you in here to episode number 9 of Blakesley Sports Media Live. And although we're very busy with keeping up on everything going on with the coronavirus and things like that, there are still a lot of interesting things to talk about in the motorsports world. And on today's program, we're going to be hearing from Bill McAnally, the promoter of All American Speedway. He also has 5 ARCA Menards Series West cars, a NASCAR Gander RVs and Outdoors Truck Series entry, and BMR Napa Auto Care with 2 auto care shops in South Placer County. So he has definitely been someone that has probably seen the impact of the coronavirus on his businesses more than just about anybody on the West Coast. So we'll be hearing from Bill McAnally in just a few moments here on episode number 9 of Blakesley Sports Media Live. Want to give everyone an opportunity to start to log on to our program before we get things started here today. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is being safe out there in the motorsports world, washing your hands, practicing the social distancing, all the things that we need to do so we can go back racing here in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Also, if you're starting to log on to our show, please comment with where you're viewing the program from. It's always fun for me to see where people are tuning in from all over the country. So we've had a lot of fun with that. And with a big guest like Bill McAnally today, I think we'll probably have some guests from all over the place. So take this opportunity now to see if any of you guys can comment with where you're tuning in from. Big hello to everybody that's tuned in so far. If it's your first time tuning in to Blakesley Sports Media Live, we're live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific right here on Facebook. But then we also put this video up on demand on Facebook and YouTube. And then we are on every major podcasting platform you can think of by about 8 o'clock tonight. So if you miss an episode, there's a lot of opportunities to see it, to listen to it. So we want to thank everyone for their support. And already seeing some folks coming in, Reno, Nevada, Stockton, California, Rockingham, North Carolina, Carson City, Nevada, Auburn, Tracy, Manteca, coming in from all over the place. And that's been the thing about this coronavirus epidemic is, although it's kind of shut down the racing world from the on-track stuff, I do believe that it has strengthened a little bit the ties that bind the racing family, and that we've kind of seen a real strong appetite for everyone in the racing world to get together on a regular basis and do things like these live shows. And there's been live content all over the place with stuff from USAC. I want to say hello to people in Woodland and San Jose and Colorado and West Sacramento. So cool to have people from all over the country tuning in to Blakesley Sports Media Live. And later on in the program, we'll talk about some of the other things that are going to be on the internet if you're thirsting for racing, and also some of the things that'll be going on this weekend if you're thirsting for racing. And we're going to take this opportunity now to jump into our interview with none other than Bill McAnally, the promoter of All American Speedway, and gave his time to us for an awesome interview to talk about the impact of the coronavirus on all of his businesses. And let's jump over to that right now. That's Bill McAnally, a man who wears many hats in the motorsport and business world and can give us a lot of perspective on the impacts of the virus on motorsports. And Bill, thanks for coming on our show.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everything you do for motorsports.
Well, I appreciate that. And let's start off with talking about All American Speedway. Can you take us through some of the discussions that you've had with the facility and the public health officials and kind of where we stand on racing in 2020?
Yeah, we've been working with the city and the officials from at the grounds that run the facility there. They had just opened their huge event center, and I mean the momentum that the track between the sponsors, fans, and racers, the momentum we built there last year being our first full season, we just for everybody's health and safety right now, it's best just to be careful and be safe. So we're anything that'll put a lot of people together in one space, avoiding, and they don't have any dates. They're monitoring everything close. Right now, we've postponed our first two events of 2020, and we're hoping that the plan is May 16th to be up and going for our next scheduled event. And we're just playing it by ear, monitoring things, and watching what's going on. But right now, everybody's 100% about being safe and the well-being of everybody. And it's just a smart thing to do is to just wait and see right now.
Well, we do have a big season planned in 2020 at All American Speedway. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to this year once we do get going?
Well, it's, of course, having the K&N and the new ARCA format returning. That's one of our biggest events, and it brings a lot to the Speedway every year with the national television and the exposure that it brings to All American Speedway. But we've got two great Spears points races, the SRL series, and there's actually a large bonus. It's part of a 3-race series that carries some huge bonuses for the racers, and we're excited about those events. We've got the monster trucks coming back. We've got the legend cars. We've got a lot of late models being built, a lot of limited modifieds, hearing from a lot of people build new cars. So I'm just looking forward to our NASCAR weekly program, the special events we have, but definitely it's all going in the right direction, hearing from these teams with new cars that they've put together and people that we didn't have out there last year that are planning to be part of our regular program this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that all start to get going. And, you brought up the ARCA Menards Series West, and you're fielding 5 cars this year, which was a massive undertaking to get underway. And, throughout the years, when I look back on the West Series, it's very common to have races be delayed or postponed hardly for any reason. So it's kind of uncharted territory. So right now with your team and all your team members and your staff, what are you able to do to keep those guys busy? Do you have some of them working at the auto care shop? What's kind of things like over there for the team?
Yeah, right now with everything being closed down, we've moved some guys over to the auto care, and we're just doing everything we can to be prepared. Like you said, this is something that none of us have ever lived through before. It's new territory, and I remember back we had a California Speedway race scheduled one time, and there was some fires in Southern California, and we had canceled a race there. But that's probably the only race I can remember ever being canceled for something like this. And that's it's a different time, and we're learning day by day how to operate and how to live through it. Fortunately, right now I've got everybody employed, everybody working, haven't had to lay anybody off or put anybody on unemployment. That's what I want to do as a business owner, is try to keep our loyal employees employed, for their families, and keep that income coming in for them.
Well, and one of the things we've heard from all the state directives is that the auto repair industry is being considered pretty essential. Have you had any impact on your auto care business as far as an increase in business, a decrease in business? What's your traffic like right now?
Yeah, we're seeing it. It's slowing down a little. We're catching up on a lot of our fleet accounts. A lot of their vehicles are not being used now, so we're being able to service those and catching up on some work that to have everybody prepared when things get going again, in full speed. So it is slowing down. The foot traffic's definitely slowing down, but a lot of people have time, and we're doing some pickup and deliveries and everything we can possibly do to keep the work in the shop, to keep everybody busy. So it's still enough work to keep everybody going, but it has slowed a bit.
So everything we've already talked about would be enough to keep you busy with the West Series team, the track, the auto care shop. We've also got to talk about your new Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series team. And of course, that series has been really hit by the virus with all the delays from NASCAR. And everything that we've heard publicly through the media is that NASCAR intends to try to extend the schedule and maybe do some midweek races and find a way to run all the races. What are you expecting to see happen with the Truck Series season?
Well, that I was on a call this morning visiting about that. You know, when we hit that May 10th date, the date they put on right now to get going again, if that does work out, we'll have 5 races to make up during the regular season. So we definitely had a tight schedule already with the promotion at All American Speedway, the Truck Series, and our ARCA West programs. So we're just going to have to fit it in. But everybody's intention is 100% on making those dates up. They feel confident. I mean, track promoters have agreements with sponsors. NASCAR has agreements with television. Nobody wants to let anybody down, and there's a lot of people involved. Contingency sponsors. I mean, on and on and on. So there's great reason to try to get all these races in, whether it is our Gander truck at the Ultimate Cup level down to our ARCA and our weekly program. The same thing. We've got great sponsors that embrace our program and support it. We've got great racers that want to get out there and race. So we're going to do everything we can in our power to make up anything that we've missed. That's the plan.
Well, and I got to think a lot of people in the industry are having some really difficult conversations with sponsors, especially if you're trying to bring on a new partner. This would be a really tough environment to do that. So how fortunate are you to have long-term backing from folks like Toyota and Napa to be able to do what you do?
Well, we have great partners in our program. And no, we're fortunate to have them and have the relationships we've had. I mean, this year marks our 30th year with Napa Auto Parts, our 12th year with Toyota and TRD, and they're committed to the plans and the programs we put together, and they want to continue and support them. And as long as things don't get canceled, as long as they're postponed, as long as we can find days to reschedule things and get it in, everybody's on board, and that is the plan.
I think my last question for you is just looking through your experience and history in the sport. There's a lot of uncertainty about what the environment for the sport will be once we come out of the virus. What do you think the racing landscape will look like? Do you think we're going to have an increase in energy? Are you kind of at all worried about the economy impacting where we go? How do you think the rest of 2020, once we do get going, is going to play out?
Yeah, it's going to be challenging for a lot of people, a lot of small business, big business. I mean, this downtime has affected a lot of people. So we're just going to have to be creative as promoters and racers on how we can help our partners rebuild and strengthen their business and the missed opportunities they've had. And just going to have to work hard and realize that we're there as an advertising or marketing tool for our partners, whether it's a track sponsorship or even a team sponsorship, and do all we can to use our racing and our race cars and tickets and hospitality and programs we can put together, utilizing our racing to help them drive and increase their sales and their numbers and help them achieve their goals and rebuild their business that they're missing out on now.
Well, I know we're all very eager to get back to the track and also trying to find ways to stay busy, which has obviously never been a problem for you. And so we appreciate you finding some time to speak with us. And hopefully we're going racing sooner rather than later, right?
Yeah, that's what we need to do, is just stay positive, upbeat, do everything we can to be prepared and to be safe and stay healthy so that we're ready to go when the time comes. It's definitely something that is new to me. Never lived through this, and every day is something different that I'm learning. But appreciate, Stephen, everything you do. The race fans continuing to support the industry. I mean, the iRacing event this weekend, the turnout. I mean, it was amazing what they brought and how creative everybody's being and what they're doing to move forward right now. But thank you, and everybody stay safe.
Well, again, I want to thank Bill McAnally for coming on to our program, and that's pretty special when you can get Bill to take some time out of all the things that he has going on. He probably, if you were to count it, has about 6 or 7 different businesses, and we had a couple interesting polls on there. And the first poll was, will you be tuning into Sunday's NASCAR iRacing event? And a majority of you will. I know I will. Me and my family really enjoyed the event at Homestead, as did a lot of people. It's the highest rated sporting event on Fox Sports 1 since the coronavirus hit and everything had to close down. So it was a big success. 900,000 people. It kind of rivaled what the Indy cars and the Truck Series are able to get in the real world. So I think this weekend's event in Texas is going to be a whole lot of fun. And we also have this poll on here. When do you think racing will continue in the state of California? Get your votes in on that. I am trying to remain optimistic that I really like the May month. You know, the NASCAR currently, their postponements run through May the 3rd, and that trickles all the way down to the local level. And then at the fairground level, we're kind of in that same mid-May, like Bill just spoke about. We're hoping that May 16th can be the opener at Roseville. So I'm really optimistic for May, but I see a lot of votes for the month of June. And it's not unrealistic. It really could go to June, but that would be pretty painful for the sport. And it would start to get pretty difficult to make up dates. So hopefully it's not June. Right now, it's looking like April's probably not going to happen. I do see a lot of people voting for April. It could, you know, take a turn. You never know how aggressive the government wants to get one way or the other. There's talk on both sides of the aisle about where we're headed, so we shall see. I do admin the Facebook for several tracks and series, and we do get questions every now and then of, you know, when do you think you're going to reopen? And the honest answer is we just don't know. You know, we're taking this week by week, day by day, and I know we'd love to be racing in April, but we just don't really know. As you can see on the screen here, I put on the radar tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the All American Speedway Facebook. We're debuting All American Speedway Racing. And it's going to be about a half hour every week of races from throughout 2019 at Roseville. It'll be a live premiere, so you can comment and share it with your friends as it happens. And that's going to be every Wednesday on the All American Speedway Facebook. Our debut episode will be the July 20th episode that had an outstanding super stock race, one of my favorite races of the last couple years. And then next week's episode, we're going to air the SRL JM Environmental 127. And that was that great battle between Jeremy Doss and Derek Thorne that had over 10,000 views. The highlight reel did on the All-American Facebooks. Now we're going to show a flag-to-flag presentation of that race next week. And then throughout the weekend, a couple of other things that'll be on the internet for viewing is on Thursdays and Saturdays on Flow Racing. USAC is doing some throwback races with some like all-star drivers, doing like a panel and sort of like a Thursday Night Thunder type of thing where they give their opinions on what they're seeing. And they've had some big names on there like Justin Grant helping them out with that. So that's going on Thursday and Saturdays on the USAC part of flowracing.com. They also have created a 24/7 Flow Racing channel. So if you have the Flow Racing subscription with USAC, they have 24/7 coverage. You can just turn on Flow Racing and they're showing archived races on a loop all the time until we get through all this. And then of course, Sunday on Fox, on Network Fox, will be the NASCAR iRacing from Texas. So round number 2. And I don't think Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to let Denny Hamlin get away with it a second time. Hamlin got him at the end there at Homestead. It was a pretty exciting finish. I don't know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you thought, but I thought that was a pretty finish to that event. So hopefully we have another exciting finish at Texas. Hope everyone is being safe out there, both in just the overall general public and in the motorsports world. At least for my family, we've been practicing all the distancing and staying at home. I know depending on what state you live in, the rules are different, but out here in California, it's pretty strict right now. So we're kind of laying low, doing the homeschooling, the work from home, things like that. I'm trying to look forward to events that are coming down the pike. So I've been spending a lot of time working on the California Speed Week. So I thought I'd break out the Hoosier Tire California Speed Week shirt as we get ready for that event coming up at the end of June. And I would feel pretty confident we'll be able to do that. Fingers crossed. But the bears have been ordered. If you haven't seen it, we have wooden bear trophies for that event. So the bears have been ordered and we're ready to hand out some bears. 15 of them every year. So I'm looking forward to doing that at the end of the month. It's so cool to see drivers and motorsport people from all over the world tuning in here to our episode 9 of Blakesley Sports Media Live. If you're just tuning in, if it's your first time seeing this program, we're typically on for about 25 to 30 minutes every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And then it also is archived on Facebook, on YouTube, and all the podcasting platforms. So if you miss an episode, there's a lot of ways to tune in. And we also have a link on my website where you can find all the episodes. And then tomorrow we'll be going live on the All American Speedway Facebook with some racing. So we're going to have archived racing on the Roseville Facebook every Wednesday. As long as we can get a good audience, we'll keep putting together new and exciting episodes. Jerry Alex Jr. says, Denny almost hit him coming out of the corner. They did not crash, and Earnhardt saved it. Yeah, he saved it. It was exciting. I think he still got second at the end there. You know, one of the things, I was talking to Mike McClooney at the Western Midget Racing Series, and we were looking back in the past to certain seasons back in the past where rain was a big impact. One of those was around like 03 or 04 here in California, where we rained out for multiple weeks in a row up and through the end of May. And then Mike brought up 1997. And the reason why I bring that up to Jerry Alex Jr. is I believe that was the year that the Rose Classic had to be delayed all the way to the following Saturday. And it was one of the last Rose Classics at Roseville, and everyone had to leave their cars in the pits. And I was still pretty young. I was 10 years old during all this, 9 years old. But my memory is that out of the 20-car field that had qualified for the main event through all the B mains and stuff like that, that something like 18 cars still answered the call for the main event the week later. So it's not unusual to have some problems getting events in the spring. And if we can get the season going around May 16th, I think we can have one heck of a season and hopefully have a balance of safety and excitement. So I'm really like just trying to hold on to that optimism that May 16th, we can open up with the JM Environmental Wild West shootout event at All American Speedway with the SRL Southwest Tour. And Madera would start right after that with their Pro Late models on TV. Watsonville could get their 360s going. Everything can get going. Middle of May would be fine with me. I love April, but that's just kind of what I'm seeing right now. And Jerry Alex Jr., yeah, 1997 was one of those years. Like we said, 97. And I think it was 04 or 05. There were some really late rainouts. We had a rainout at Altamont in 06 that was on like Memorial Day weekend. So we've had trouble in the month of May before. So it's not completely out of the question that we would have delays. So May 16th wouldn't be the biggest disaster out there. 2020 will start late, but will be awesome. I think I would agree with that. Just with what I do with Speed Week, Delta, Madera, and Roseville, kind of the 4 groups that I work with the closest, we all are seeing larger numbers of car counts, sponsorships, purses. And so it seems like in racing, if the economy turns around, it takes 2 or 3 years for that to trickle down to our level of the sport. And I think we're right on the cusp of that little trickle down from the last 2 or 3 years have been so good for the economy. And we're starting to really see that pay off. People have to save up money to build these race cars, right? So they've all been counting their pennies, saving up their money as things got stronger and stronger in the last 2 years. And there are a lot of new race cars that are about ready to hit the track. So, you know, with this delay, anybody that was running late, they can get the car on the track when we do get going. So I think there's a good possibility car counts are going to look really good. And then we also have to think about, you know, right now, a lot of these drivers and teams are small business owners that are, you know, trying to hang on by a thread as well. So their budget to race the car might be impacted a little bit. So as promoters, we're going to have to be very cognizant of how aggressive we can get, you know, making up a few dates here and there. But, you know, if you set up for something that ends up being like 3 weeks in a row when you're a track that normally runs every other week, there might not be the economics for your local grassroots drivers to support that. So just all the kinds of things that we're going to have to think about. And it's just exciting just to think about going through all that we're going to be figuring out how to get enough racing on the calendar. So I can't wait for that to all transpire. And again, want to thank all of you for tuning in. This is an absolutely tremendous turnout of people on the stream, largest stream we've had so far. If you have any questions for me about anything in the motorsports world, I'm happy to answer them here now before we log off in just a few moments. Want to say hello to everybody, Matt Manolis, Jason McDougall. The top's up here, bud. Hope you guys get to go racing pretty soon. Mike Nake, Eric Graham, Chuck Smithhart. Want to thank all you guys for tuning in here to Blakesley Sports Media Live. So again, be safe. We have an event airing on the Roseville Facebook tomorrow. USAC has events airing on Thursday and Saturday on Flow Racing. Sunday, the iRacing for NASCAR. There's some other iRacing events going on. We're planning a junior late model themed iRacing series through Madera. So look for that to come down the pike. So there's still a lot of excitement. We're having a lot of fun. We're trying to find ways to stay busy. And we're looking forward to the rest of the season with a lot of optimism. And I plan to keep doing a show every Tuesday at 5:30, even though we do have the coronavirus and we're not racing. I plan to find interesting guests. So if you guys have any comments on anyone you'd like me to interview, I've had a few people make some suggestions. So far, we've had Bill McAnally, Jesse Love, Joey East, Michael Self, Austin Herzog, Mitchell Facino. We've had a good little subset of drivers and people from the industry. So if you have any ideas for that, Mike Nake would be a real good one. I think Mike's tuned in right now. And Mike, if you're interested, I would love to have you and just get a great insight into what your program's about and really about how you work with those kids. So I would love to do that. So let me know, Mike, and I'll reach out to you as well. I like that idea a whole lot. Mike Doss, want to say hello to you. Maybe we'll get the Dawson people up here, the Jeremy Doss Motorsports people on the program sooner rather than later. So again, be safe, everyone, and we hope to see you at the races.